Hello viewers, you're welcome to this very important lecture on the African lungfish, Protopteris annectans. Protopteris annectans is a very unique fish we want to talk about. In today's lecture, we're going to look at the classification of this fish. Now, the African lungfish, Protopteris annectans, is a fish in the phylum Chordata, the kingdom Animalia, and it belongs to uh, the class Sarcopterygii. It belongs to the class Sarcopterygii, and it also belongs to the other Rhipidistia. Now, this fish is very unique in all senses. If you are very observant, you will notice that it has some unique features that are not common to all fishes. It has some unique features that are quite uncommon to other fishes. The class Sarcopterygii is made up of lobe-finned fishes. Lobe-finned fishes, okay, in the phylum Chordata. They are lobe-finned fishes, fishes that have lobe fins. And this African lungfish, which is eel-like in appearance, belongs to this subclass, the other Rhipidistia. It belongs to the other Rhipidistia. And these organisms in the other Rhipidistia are found in Africa, South America, and basically in Africa and South America. Now, the African lungfish, basically, when it wants to reproduce, it actually spawns in the at the bottom of the lake where it produces a nest. It builds a nest, and then it lays its egg in a pit on the bottom of the watercourse. The tiny larvae emerge a week after the eggs are laid, and the larvae, actually, when they emerge, they have long, bright red, tusk-like or fin-like external gills, which they use for breathing until lungs are fully developed. As adults, the African lungfish makes use of lungs. It breathes atmospheric air. The African lungfish breathes atmospheric air. When it wants to breathe, it comes out of the water. It actually comes out of the water to breathe oxygen, atmospheric oxygen, and then goes back inside the water. So that's one very unique feature of the African lungfish. It does not breathe dissolved oxygen like other fishes, but it breathes atmospheric air. This African lungfish breathes atmospheric air instead of dissolved oxygen, breathes atmospheric oxygen instead of dissolved oxygen. The African lungfishes are voracious, eating a variety of aquatic animals, including members of their own species. In captivity, the African lungfishes eat earthworms. They also eat pieces of meat, tadpoles, small frogs, and small fishes. When they are in captivity, you can feed them with those things, and can even feed them with the fish feed. Now, the African lungfish basically have a pair of lungs that are around the alimentary canal, around the digestive system, and those lungs are quite rudimentary. They are like those of the amphibians, both in structure and function. They are not as developed as those of the reptiles, birds, and mammals, but they have that unique feature. This African lungfish has another very unique feature. They are actually um, almost blind. Their eyes are usually very small. They are almost blind, and they are very mobile pelvic and pectoral fins. They have very mobile pelvic and pectoral fins that are limb-like or thread-like, and these mobile pelvic and pectoral fins are very sensitive. They have very sensory functions, and they use them to observe the environment, to actually get sensory impulses that directs the fish on exactly how to uh, navigate the aquatic ecosystem or how to manage the ecosystem. This African lungfish have a distinction from the Australian lungfish, Protopteris utopicus, which actually have broad limbs. the broad pelvic and pectoral fins. This African lungfish have, instead of having the broad pectoral and pelvic fins, it has very thin pelvic and pectoral fins. And because of this pelvic and pectoral fins, the Bayelsians in Nigeria usually call it the breast fish. In Ijaw, we call it a biesini. In Ijaw language, most people call it a biesini. Now, one very unique feature of this fish is that this fish carries out aestivation. When the water in the pond has fully dried up, when the water in the pond has dried up, the African lungfish is able to build a cocoon. It builds a cocoon and then it digs into the soil and then builds a cocoon and covers itself. And then it shuts down all its metabolic activities. It stops to eat, stops breathing, and stops excretion, and remains in that cocoon until when the pond has water. So aestivation takes place in the African lungfish when the pond has dried up. When the pond is fully dried up, it undergoes aestivation. And then when it rains, when precipitation occurs and the pond is saturated by water, when it has water, it now comes out of its cocoon. The African lungfish can actually remain in that state of aestivation for even up to 2 years. It uses that mechanism, that method to survive drought and harsh environmental conditions. So the African lungfish is quite unique. It's a very unique kind of fish. And actually it is hardy, very hardy. It can survive harsh environmental conditions. So you're very appreciated for watching this video. May you continue to watch more of our videos in my YouTube channel. Thanks for watching.